It happened on a rainy Thursday evening, one of those days where the sky feels too heavy and the air hums with something you can't quite explain. I was returning home from work, exhausted and silently praying for the weekend to come faster. I remember walking up the driveway, shaking my umbrella and fumbling for my keys, when I saw something strange through the living room window. I froze. Someone. No, I was sitting on the couch, legs crossed, holding a mug, watching TV. At first I thought it was my reflection, but then I noticed the movement. It wasn't mimicking me. It was ahead of me, already sitting, already relaxed, like it belonged there. My heart did this strange stutter, like it was trying to skip away from what my eyes were seeing. I live alone, no roommate, no visitors. I stepped back quietly, unsure whether to call the cops or just run. I crouched under the window to get a better look. My double looked calm, too calm. Same hairstyle, same hoodie I wore yesterday, even the small scar above my right eyebrow. Everything was identical. I watched as it slowly turned its head, not toward the TV, but directly at the window, at me. I ducked instantly. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't hear footsteps. No sound of a door opening, nothing. Just rain tapping on the roof like a ticking clock. After what felt like forever, I peeked back up. The living room was empty. I'm not sure how long I stood there, completely drenched, questioning my sanity. Eventually, I forced myself to unlock the door. Every instinct screamed not to, but I had to know. I had to prove it was just my imagination. Maybe a trick of the light. Stress, fatigue. But the moment I stepped inside, I knew something was off. The mug was still warm. There were 2 indents on the couch cushions, like someone had just been sitting there with me. That night I didn't sleep. I sat in bed, back against the wall, staring at my bedroom door. I didn't lock it. I didn't think it would matter if I did. You might think that was the worst part, seeing yourself in your own house uninvited. But it wasn't. The worst part came the next morning, when my boss called and asked why I had left work early the day before. I hadn't. I stayed till 6 p.m. like always. He told me I walked into his office at 3, handed in some documents, and said I wasn't feeling well. He even said I smiled. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if this is a prank, a hallucination, or something darker. But one thing I do know, something that looks exactly like me is out there, and it's living pieces of my life without my permission. And somehow, I reviewed the security camera I installed in my room a few days earlier. There was footage. At 2:11 a.m., the bedroom door slowly opened. I was asleep in bed, undisturbed. And then, I walked in, or someone who looked like me did. They stood at the doorway for a full minute, unmoving. Then they walked to the edge of the bed, just standing there, watching. They never blinked. The video ended abruptly at 2:46 a.m. Just cut to black. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember getting up. I don't remember taking the photos. But they're there. And so is the footage. A part of me thought about checking into a hospital, a mental facility, wondering if maybe I was experiencing some sort of dissociative disorder. But then I realized, if this thing is real, then I'd be locked away, and it would be free to walk around in my skin. I've tried burning sage, sleeping with lights on. I even reached out to an online forum about doppelgänger folklore. Some users responded with fun stories. But one user, username_echo remains, messaged me privately. They said, If you've seen your double more than once, it means it's already taken something from you. The more people see it instead of you, the weaker your identity becomes. Don't confront it. Don't acknowledge it. It feeds on attention. I haven't replied yet, but I think it's too late. Last night, I called into work to explain everything, or at least to say I needed time off. My manager said, "You were just here an hour ago. You looked fine. Actually, you seemed happier than usual." I wasn't there. I hadn't left the house in 2 days. I don't know who or what is pretending to be me, but it's doing a better job than I am. And every time I blink, every time I fall asleep, I wonder, is it still me who wakes up? I've stopped trusting time. The days bleed into each other, like smudged ink on wet paper. Sometimes I forget what day it is, or if I've eaten, or if I even slept the night before. My memories feel fragile, like they're being edited while I'm not paying attention. I started leaving sticky notes for myself. Little reminders like, "You made coffee this morning," or "You haven't left the house today." But now, even the handwriting doesn't look like mine. 2 nights ago, I woke up gasping for air. The sheets were on the floor. My bedroom door was wide open, though I always close it. I stumbled into the hallway and saw the front door was unlocked. Cold air drifted in from outside. That's when I noticed muddy footprints on the floor, leading from the entrance to my room and back out again. They were bare feet, same size as mine. I checked the camera. It was gone. Not just the recording. The entire camera. Unplugged, removed. As if someone knew exactly what they were doing. Yesterday, I went to the bank. I don't even know why I bothered. Something just told me to check. The teller smiled and greeted me by name. Said I'd already been in earlier that day. Said I'd withdrawn $2,000 in cash. I hadn't. I asked to see the security footage. She hesitated, but eventually led me into the back where they showed me the tape. It was me, walking confidently into the bank. Same clothes I wore last week. Smiling, chatting with the teller, taking the cash, leaving. I watched frozen as this thing waved goodbye to the camera. It even winked. I think it knows I'm watching now. I left the bank in a panic, drove home recklessly. When I got there, the front door was wide open again. I stepped inside, heart pounding. Everything looked normal, too normal. Then I heard a soft humming, coming from upstairs. A familiar tune, one I used to hum as a kid when I couldn't sleep. I crept up the stairs, each step creaking like it was warning me to turn back. The sound was coming from my bedroom. I slowly pushed the door open. There I was, sitting on the bed, calm, smiling. It looked up at me with my own face, but the eyes, they weren't mine, too still, too empty, like mirrors reflecting nothing but darkness. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then it spoke, in my voice, but quieter, like a whisper, echoing from inside my own head. "Why are you still here?" I wanted to scream, to run, to do something, but my body wouldn't listen. It stood up, took one step toward me, and then everything went black. I woke up hours later on the bedroom floor alone. The bed was made, the humming was gone, and everything felt untouched, like I had dreamed it. But my head throbbed, and there was dried blood behind my ear. I don't know how I got hurt. I don't know how long I was out. Now, I can't be sure I'm the original anymore. That's the truth. Because today, my neighbor smiled at me as I walked outside and said, "Two of you? Lucky me." Then she laughed. A casual joke. But I could see it in her eyes. Confusion, fear, something unspoken. I asked what she meant. She looked at me strangely, then quickly said, "Never mind," and went back inside.